Welcome back to Court TV Live. The murder trial for Karen Reed is underway in Massachusetts. She is facing several charges for allegedly killing her boyfriend, who was a Boston police officer named John O'Keefe. This was all after a night out drinking. Now, before we go back in to listen to more of that testimony from the forensic scientist on the stand, let's bring in National Trial Attorney Mike Jaafar, who is standing by. Michael, this could be a key witness. She's talking about that single hair strand that was found on the back of Karen Reed's SUV. How monumental is this for the jury when they've heard a lot of things that the defense has said as well up until this point, including this allegation of a cover-up?
You know, I've been on pins and needles waiting for a smoking gun. Obviously, that piece of hair would be a smoking gun if it's tied to John O'Keefe. It would actually end the case, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. It doesn't look like she's going to be able to say that this piece of hair was tested and it matches John O'Keefe. If she does do that in conjunction with all the other evidence, it's asking the jury too much to just assume, well, that hair, what do they say? The whole thing was a cover-up, and they took a piece of hair when they beat him up and they put it on her taillight while she was, you know, it would be too much. But I don't believe that this expert is going to be able to testify that that hair was tested and it matches John O'Keefe. Barring that, it's going to be okay evidence, not conclusive evidence.
Now, at the very beginning of her testimony, she was asked about an issue that she had with a different case where she thought there was a bulb at the end of the hair, and it turns out there wasn't. She had to go back through more training. Prosecution had to get that out, but do you think that that colors at all how her testimony is going to be received by the jury, especially about the hair?
Any juror who came into this case believing there's a conspiracy, that's gonna create like a Rorschach test for the jury, right? So if you're gonna see whatever you want to see. So if you think that her mistake on a prior case means that she made another mistake here, then you're gonna believe that. She's a human being. Forensic experts, people don't know this, they make mistakes all the time in cases. There is nothing other than having a blood draw and taking a DNA sample and giving a percentage match. Other than that, a lot of this is just, you know, only 90% accurate. That means there's 10% of the time there's going to be a mistake or it's not going to be accurate. So I think the jurors will hang on to that if they want to believe that there's a conspiracy.
And that's why there's a lot of checks and balances, even in those crime labs of other people checking each other's work. Let's go back in and hearing more from the forensic scientist, Maureen Hartnett, who was under direct examination. Back now to Massachusetts, where it's day 19 of the killer or cover-up murder trial, where prosecutors say that Karen Reed intentionally backed into her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe, and left him to die in the snow. Now, her defense claims that there's a massive police cover-up going on, and they will get a chance to cross-examine the witness who's on the stand now, a forensic scientist who is pointing to that vehicle that she was driving having been involved in some kind of a collision. Still with us, National Trial Attorney Mike Jaafar. Michael, do you think there's any other explanation for some of the things that we are seeing from this forensic scientist other than a cover-up? The hair, the dent, the scratches, the broken taillight.
I mean, the other explanation is that she actually backed into him, right? It's not conclusive either way. And I've been waiting for a smoking gun in this case since the case began. But you could see it both ways. I used the analogy in the prior block that this is turning into this specific expert. Her testimony could be a Rorschach test. A lot of the evidence in this case could be a Rorschach test. So the question in this case is, did she back into him or did she not? That has not been answered conclusively, but definitely it has not been shown that this is for sure a conspiracy, but that specter has been floated, and the attorneys for Karen Reed have done a good job on cross-examining every single witness that the prosecution has brought forward. But I just don't know, but I am waiting to see how they cross-examine this particular witness.
Yeah, of course, the prosecution hopes that this kind of evidence is conclusive, but it sounds like you're saying it still can go either way despite what the forensic scientist is presenting. Let's go in and hear more from